Mabuhay, Kamustika, welcome. How are you? This is Bob from Love Beyond the Sea. 12 ways to help your Filipina feel safe with you. I want to talk about that today. Often in a Fil-West relationship, you have a large age gap and people from different cultures from very far away, and it is possible that it may take a while for both to feel safe with each other, to be able to believe that each is truly invested in the other and wants to build their world around each other. That sounds great, doesn't it? I don't want to marry, someone and feel like another person could somehow come between us. Today I will cover a dozen ways that you can help the woman in your life to feel safe with you. And I think if she is safe with you, then you are safe with her. Subscribe to Love Beyond the Sea for practical help for the best thing in the world, I think, marriage. The benefits come to those who can persevere. See how many things in this video you are able to do to help your wife feel safe with you. I married a woman from the Philippines. However, as you will see, the 12 actions I list are for anyone. List of ways to make your Filipina feel safe. And safe means being able to be herself, flaws and all, and still be respected by her husband and know he is pleased with her. That's what I'm talking about, feeling safe with him. I'm not necessarily talking about her leaving you, but that certainly can happen if you're not doing these things. Let's just start with this one. Don't think they're in any order. Absence of abuse. An obvious one is not to be abusive in any way, shape, or form. Harsh words, belittling words said in anger, a slap or a punch is going to be extremely difficult to overcome. So don't allow that to happen. You may not be as concerned about this happening to you, but to a woman from thousands of miles away with a guy she doesn't know all that well yet, this is a fear of hers and would be a deal breaker. Another one, don't criticize. She already realizes that she is far from perfect, and even, over the years will still never be absolutely everything that she wants to be and probably wants to be for you. So hearing criticism from her husband can be hard to turn into something positive. She needs to know she can screw up at times and you will still have her back. Maybe she spends too much money on something or time with something, or forgets to pay something on time. It could be anything. But for every time she messes up and knows it, she needs to hear something positive from you, and words are very, very powerful. Sometimes just, giving her a hug when she has done something she knows you are not happy about can make a huge difference. Other times, offering some advice that helps her more fully realize that she did something that she could do better will be what she needs to hear. Giving her other opportunities helps her feel safe with you, and it shows that you can still trust her. Let's say you were teaching her to drive, which I've done for my wife, and let's say she isn't careful, and you can remind her that we've all done things like what she may have done, learning to drive, and that the best way to learn from it is to, and then explain what that would be. Other times it will be best to simply ask her if there's anything she thinks that you could do to help her. And I will link a video for more about criticism and avoiding that as much as you can. Another thing to avoid is nitpicking. And this is similar to criticism, but makes it even harder for her to be able to correct. Maybe she is doing the very best she can with something. Nitpicking on small details can make her resentful. After a while, there may be some things that we as husbands just have to accept. For example, and there could be many, but one would be her English. It isn't her first language, and maybe there are some instances where she has improved as much as she is going to. So more emphasis on fine-tuning might only serve to make her feel like she isn't good enough, and then she wouldn't feel safe with you. Safe, again, means being able to be herself, flaws and all, and still be respected by her husband, supported, and know he is pleased with her. How about this one? See her perspective, or through her eyes. It really is remarkable the insight we can gain when we stop and put ourselves in someone else's shoes. All of the differences you have with her are there for a reason, and gaining her perspective can make things a lot different. If you are used to being with women from your country, some things might not apply to a woman from a different one, especially if there is an age gap. I would just mention the family situation in the Philippines and her needing to help her family if she is working. We don't do that here in the West. It is pretty much every man or woman fending for themselves. In the Philippines, it more or less is an obligation for her to help them. An obligation, not an option. And she is not going to veer from that, unless possibly if you and her have a child together. That would be the only thing that I could think that would cause her to say, no, we're not going to be sending money back home. One thing you should do is to praise her. That'll help her feel safe with you. And I will link a longer video about this particular aspect of helping your Filipina feel safe with you, praising her. If any woman is made to feel safe and loved by her husband, she isn't going anywhere. I don't think you can praise or compliment too much. Just beware of flattery, which I have also done a video about. I've got like 850 videos. I couldn't find that one, but it's out there somewhere. Some guys might think I lay it on too thick with compliments, but there will come a day my little woman won't hear any more compliments or praise from me, and she is going to miss it. This one is a big deal. Also, let her be herself. This may not be an issue for all husbands, but I will list it because no one wants to not be able to be themselves. We are all unique. I don't want to box my wife into a box that isn't real. She is very flexible with me and my quirks, and I appreciate that. Makes me feel safe with her. And I want to feel free to express myself, and I need to allow her the same thing in any way that she needs. In some ways, my wife and I are remarkably similar, and other ways we are quite dissimilar. Be open with her. Be open with her. This goes without saying, but I'll say it anyway. I think she will feel safest when she believes there isn't anything her husband is hiding from her. I've always been transparent with my wife. Transparency comes easy for me. I know that with her I can be totally myself. We've been married, 6 years, 5 months, but around others, I know it can backfire. Whether it is sexual or financial or how you feel about something with your wife, talk about it and be honest about it. Another thing here on the list, trust her. If she feels there are times when her husband doesn't trust her, I just can't see how she will go all out in her marriage. I have trusted my wife with certain responsibilities in our marriage, and I know there will be a learning process involved. She's from another country, and she will make some mistakes. Even the currency was different in the Philippines. But sometimes without those mistakes, there won't be learning taking place. So this isn't like hiring someone for employment where you can maybe get a track record or talk to a former employer, and then you know exactly what you're getting in certain areas. When you get married, it's not always like that. So all you can do is trust and go from there. Now, certainly providing for her makes her feel safe. Financial provision, also emotional provision, recreational provision, building her up. That's all included here in providing for her. If you can do something for her, I recommend doing it. My wife wants to go to school here, and she is now, but it took us about 6 years for the right time to go about this. And I will gladly help her with that because it's important to her, and she best do this while she is still relatively young, and it can help her at her job. I believe that, and I won't be around forever. Another thing here, avoid pornography. I have podcasts called Casting Beyond the Sea, you can subscribe to on Podbean. And earlier when I started that, I had a 6-part series about pornography where I talk about a book by Tim Challies called Sexual Detox, a guide for guys who are sick of porn. You can find those on the website lvbts.com under podcasts. She will not feel safe or even comfortable with a husband who she knows is hitting the porn now and then. She needs to know you are all into her. And some men will have some things to change and undo before getting to that point. I would encourage you to listen to those podcasts. She can't give her best to her husband if he is fantasizing about other women she can never be. Porn is a sin against your own body, and you will find it difficult to even respond to the woman you married if you are engaged in pornography. Also, avoid flirting. This is very mild compared to pornography, but even flirting with others can lead to destruction and distract you from fully investing in the woman that you married. And we'll list one more here. Don't control her. I will link a video for this also because there's so much to say. I won't say it here. You must give your spouse freedom, yes, even freedom to make mistakes, freedom to be human, just like you need, for her to respect you and feel safe with you. If your wife feels safe with you, you are in a very good place in life. So here's a quick rundown of these 12 ways to help your Filipina feel safe with you. Absence of abuse of any kind. Don't criticize, avoid nitpicking. See things from her perspective. Praise her. Let her be herself. Be open with her, trust her, provide for her. Avoid pornography, avoid flirting even, and don't control her. So check out the videos at the top of the description box for elaboration on some of these areas. These are 12 good ways to safeguard your marriage with your love beyond the sea.